Hi, welcome to Christine's Corner. I'm Grandma Christine, and I'm going to be reading you a book by Katherine Gibson. Today's book is Coach Bob and Me. And I'm going to show you the pictures and then read the story to you. And this is the coach here, looking out the window. As I walked into the lunchroom at school one day, I noticed Coach Bob sitting at his usual table eating lunch. He liked sitting by the open window, watching the kids play football. Sometimes the entire team would join him. Everyone seemed to enjoy that, especially the coach. Not just athletes came to Coach Bob for advice. He was always willing to help anyone who needed it, and he seemed to really care about the students. He was well respected, loved by his students, and moved around so easily that people seemed to forget that he was in a wheelchair. At times, it made me feel sad to see him unable to walk. I often wondered what his life would be like if he hadn't had the accident. He never talked about it. He seemed content in spite of it. Here he is on the football field with the other football players. There was a certain excitement about the arrival of fall, the wind blowing leaves around, the crisp air. People seemed to have so much more energy. It was a beautiful autumn day, and everyone wanted to play football, including me. I had never tried out for the team. I had never felt good enough to even try. Still, I enjoyed playing and managed to practice with others who, like me, weren't on the team. Here he is in school near his locker room. There were some guys on the team who thought they were pretty cool, too cool. Once in a while, in the hallway, they would intentionally bump into me while I was getting a book from my locker. As my papers spilled out onto the floor, they would laugh. I usually ate alone in the cafeteria, and there were times when they would walk by my lunch table and nudge it, spilling drink everywhere. Oh, here he is with his coach, exercising and lifting the bell bars. Although I wasn't on the team, there were a few of us who would go to the weight room during our free time and lift weights. I knew that football players should lift whenever they could to improve their strength. Most of the guys on the football team were stronger than me, but I didn't let that bother me. My brother Tyler encouraged me to use his weights and lift at home. I didn't feel very strong and didn't think I could lift much, but I still kept at it. One afternoon, Coach came into the weight room to check on us. I think he could tell that I was trying my best, and he was very encouraging. He told me he thought I was looking stronger, which was great to hear. Here's two coaches and guys on the football field. Here's the coach in the wheelchair right here. Great illustrations. Our gym class, taught by the team's head coach, Coach Kelly, met on the track the following week. He told us we were going to be tested in 3 categories: running, distance jumping, and on our lifting skills in the weight room. When we went back inside, I was surprised to see that there were only a couple of guys on the football team that could lift more weight than me. They seemed surprised to see what I could do, and I felt pretty good about it. Here he is sitting at the lunch table. The following day, I showed up early for lunch and was sitting alone. It was another perfect day for football. Coach Bob was early too. and stopped by my table. "Great job yesterday, Stefan. Coach Kelly told me you've been working pretty hard in the weight room. Why don't you join us over at my table?" "No, thanks," I replied, adding, "I'm interested in this book about football, and it's pretty good, so I don't mind sitting alone right now." Here he is with Coach shaking hands. I showed him the book, which he looked at for a minute and said, "This is a great book. It looks like there are some good strategies in here. Tell you what, Stefan, once you finish eating, why don't you bring the book over and show the guys? Some of those guys are never very friendly to me, Coach," I told him. He seemed to understand and answered that they could be a bit overconfident at times, adding, "Well, keep plugging away. You're doing a great job. Join us after your lunch if you'd like." Oh, and here's the other team that came over for lunch. Not long afterwards, Coach Bob encouraged me to come over and sit at an empty seat at his table and told the team about my book. The coach took time to speak up to us about the importance of good sportsmanship. The next thing you know, Coach Bob had picked up my book and pointed out some plays that he wanted the team to practice. Here he is, shaking hands again. That Friday, Coach Bob came by my locker just before lunch. "Hey, buddy, where you been?" he asked with a smile. "I ordered team t-shirts and thought you might like one. Here's one, try it on." It felt pretty good, and best of all, it made me feel like I was part of the team. Taking me aside, he asked, "What seems to be bugging you lately?" Quietly, I told him that I had been thinking about his accident and what his life would be like if it hadn't happened. In a reassuring voice, he answered, "Thanks for your concern, Stefan, but I'm okay with it. When I was a young boy, I watched sports all the time and read everything that I could about sports. I always wanted to be a coach." Here's the coach, and the name of the team seems to be the Falcons. It's on his t-shirt. Coach Bob continued, "After my accident, I went through a tough time, but it made me focus on what I wanted to accomplish. I spent a lot of time in the hospital and realized it was more important than ever for me to be on the field, even if I was in a wheelchair. It made me want to work harder than ever to become a coach." He's the coach, and I worked out a lot to improve my strength. I studied and learned all I could about coaching. Actually, I can get around pretty well. I bet I could wheel this chair faster than you think, he said laughingly. "I know," I replied. "That thing can really move." Stefan, everyone has something they have to overcome. Remember back in the lunchroom when you thought that some of the guys were too tough? You were tougher than you thought, and you have even overcome some of your shyness these last several weeks. Here's the coach is talking to Stefan. Coach added, "That is another example of strength. I am proud of you, Stefan. You can do anything you want to, if you try hard enough. The truth is, I probably wouldn't be as good a coach now if I hadn't had the accident. It made me more determined to do what I really wanted with my life. After learning from my own experience, I am glad to help others. Thanks for all the help you've given me, Coach. I noticed that whenever you enter a room, there is either someone shouting at you out your name or giving you a pat on the back. You have so many friends. That's true, Stefan. It proves that there's more to life than simply playing on a field. Here's the coach and Stefan and all the football players. That afternoon we were on the field until it was nearly dark. Coach Bob made us take time out to notice the colorful sky. Always remember to take some time to look at the big picture in life, he reminded us. Taking us by surprise, he switched gears and said, "Okay, let's get moving." After a few more plays, I thought about how great it was to finally be a part of a team. The next morning, I grabbed my backpack and headed out the door to school, thinking about the events of the last several weeks. I realized how my outlook on life had changed through Coach Bob's experience. I had learned that overcoming a challenge in life can help you identify your goals. I knew that whether we won the biggest game of the season or not wasn't important. It was knowing what you want and going for it. Coach Bob believed in me, and his friendship was the best part of all. I'm going to take a look at the beautiful sky. And that's the end. And our next book is What's Your Something Special? By Catherine Gibbs again. And illustrations by Mary Fletcher. Think about what's your special something. You can't catch me, I heard someone shout. Or let me show you the picture. It was the last day of school, and, as usual, I was looking out at the other kids playing at recess. I'd often wondered how it would feel to follow my friends in a chase. What would it be like to climb the ladder or to swing from the monkey bars? I would grab onto one bar as I let go of another, while my feet walked through the air. But I'm not able to run or climb or even walk one step. I'm in a wheelchair. I can't do these things because my legs don't move. The bell rang at the end of the day. All the excited children rushed past me down the crowded hallway. They knew that summer vacation would start as soon as they ran through the school doors. While I was waiting outside for my ride, my friend Beth tapped me on the shoulder. "What's wrong, Samantha?" she asked. "Nothing," I said at first, but Beth kept looking at me. "I wish I could play with other kids on the playground," I finally admitted. Beth nodded. "So do I. No one plays with me either. I guess they think it's strange that I sit alone drawing all the time, even at recess." I looked up at her. Maybe I wasn't the only one who felt so alone. "Hey Sam," she said, "do you think we could spend some time together this summer?" "Sure," I said quickly. "Great. Gotta go," Beth shouted as she ran for her bus. When my mom came, she lifted me into the back seat of the van. "So how's my special kid?" Mom asked. Here she is right here. "I don't want to be a special kid anymore," I grumbled. "That just means I'm different. I'm special for what I can't do. I can't walk. Everyone else is special for what they can do. I just want to be the same as everyone else." Mom wrapped her arms around me and held me close. "Oh, Samantha," she whispered, "just like everyone else, you are unique. When you find that something special that you hold inside, you'll always have that key to share it with others." and the circus is in town. On the way home, Mom glanced at me now and then in the rearview mirror. Finally, she said, "Samantha, you may never walk, but there are so many things you can do. You have a wonderful imagination. That's why you can write such beautiful poems and stories. That's something very special about you. Your family, friends, and teachers can help guide you, but only you have the key within your heart to make it happen." "Okay, Mom," I murmured, staring out the window. But I had heard it all before. When we turned the corner, I saw a huge billboard that made my spirits soar. "Mom, Mom, look at that! A circus is in town! I'd never been to a circus before. Please, can I go with Beth?" I asked excitedly. "Well," Mom answered slowly, "I'm not so sure if, well, okay, I would be happy to take you and Beth to the circus." That night I called Beth. She was so excited. It was all we could talk about for days and days. Finally, it was the big night. We sat under the circus tent, eating pink cotton candy and nibbling fresh popcorn, waiting eagerly for the show to begin. The lights dimmed and the music came up. The ringmaster thundered, "Ladies and gentlemen, the most amazing show of the century is about to begin." So many things began to happen at once. Clowns with huge feet frolicked and tumbled. A glittering performer stood gracefully on a horse galloping around the ring. There were trapeze artists flying over my head. Then the ringmaster announced, "And now for the most magnificent magician ever to dazzle your eyes." A mysterious man swirled his silk cape, and a fierce-looking tiger leaped out of a cloud of smoke. A second later, the tiger vanished, only to reappear in the center ring. We watched wide-eyed as one spectacular act after another took place. When the show was over, the crowd poured out into the cool night air. I was surprised to see the magician performing outside. A small group had gathered around him, but he looked past them when he saw Beth wheeling me toward him. He bent down and asked, "How did you enjoy the show?" Beth giggled with her hands over her mouth. I said softly, I believe in you. I believe in your magic. Can I be in the circus one day? Can I fly on the trapeze?" The magician smiled sadly. "Wait here for me," he said, swirling his cape. He lit up with bright sparks of color, then he disappeared into a puff of gray smoke. It was not long before the magician appeared once again, out of the same cloud of smoke. He pulled out an object from his cape and gave it to me. "Sunglasses," I asked, a little disappointed. "Are they magic?" "No," he admitted, "but they can help you to see what you have never seen before." "I don't need any help seeing," I grumbled. "At times we all need help seeing," the magician said mysteriously. He slipped the glasses over my eyes and began to recite these words. "When you find you're something special, you'll know it right away. It comes from deep inside you and never goes away. It's something you always had but can't find in a book. Don't give up. Don't. Just try again. Take another look. There is a special gift that only you can share. The more you give from your heart, the more you'll find is there. When you look inside yourself, believe in what you see, you'll find your special something. Your heart will hold the key." And there she is with the sunglasses. Then he swirled his cape around him and was gone. On the way back home, Beth chattered excitedly about the magician. I sat quietly hearing the magician's words playing in my head like a song. Did I have that something special? If so, what was locked inside of me, and where was the key? When we pulled into Beth's driveway, we hugged and said goodbye. As we drove away, I slipped on the sunglasses and closed my eyes. I put my hand out the open window and felt the cool air blow through my fingers. I felt like a bird circling high above. Then I became a trapeze artist flying through the air. My wheelchair was nowhere in sight. That night, as I sat in my wheelchair in my bedroom, I kept the sunglasses on, even though I could hardly see at all in my dark room. I took them off and wondered if there was a button to push or a switch to make them work. With a sigh, I tried them on again, tightly closing my eyes. Oh, I wish I could find the key inside of me, I said out loud. I wish I could run and climb and fly on a trapeze. But my legs still didn't move. I ripped the sunglasses off and flung them across the room. I covered my face with my hands and cried, Where? Where is the key inside of me? I wiped my tears and saw that the sunglasses had landed near my bed. I wheeled my chair over to get them, but they were just out of my reach. I leaned closer. Excuse me. I leaned closer, scooting up to the edge of my wheelchair. Leaning as far as I could, I inched my fingers across the floor. I came closer and closer till I felt the smooth edge of the rim. But each time I tried to grab the sunglasses, I pushed them farther away. Oh no, I cried. I can't do it. I can't do anything. Out of nowhere, the magician's words came to me. Don't give up. I tried one last time, reaching them farther than before. At last they were in my grasp. I did it! The sunglasses were in my hand. I sat back, clenching my sunglasses with a sigh of relief. At that moment the phone rang. It was Beth. Her voice sounded soft and sad. What's wrong? I asked. With a sniffle, she said, I love going to the circus so much. I wanted to draw it for you, Sam. Excuse me, but my drawing was not coming out how I wanted it to. Then I pressed too hard and tore a big hole in the paper. Oh, Beth, I said, I understand how you're feeling. For different reasons, we feel the same way. I told her how I threw my sunglasses across the room. It wasn't long before we were giggling. I let her know that I thought she was the best artist in the school because she draws straight from the heart. When I write my stories, Beth, will you draw the pictures for me? I asked. Really, Sam? She asked softly. Sure, I said. You got something special. When I got off the phone, Mom was standing at my door. She must have heard me talking with Beth. Mom, I said, these sunglasses aren't really magic at all, but they did help me to see that there's magic in believing in myself. I love to write. If I believe with all my heart and can do so much more than I ever thought was possible, that is the key. I found it when I helped Beth see what was special about her. Mom nodded and smiled. Samantha, she said, long ago when you were in the car accident, we thought we might lose you. But you made it through because you are strong. Your gifts are more than physical. You can use your words to help others realize that they can do wonderful things. With your writings, you can inspire others to look inside their hearts to find their special gifts. I hope you enjoyed that book. This book, both books, What's Your Something Special, and Coach Bob and Me. So if you're in special needs, or you know of somebody with special needs, just give them a hug, and know what it's like that they too have something special. You too have something special. Tune in next week with Christine's Corner. Happy to have you.